Hi, welcome to Zathers Gaming, and this is just a quick no-death guide to the first level of Sifu. So right off the bat, the level just starts, and for the most part, throughout a lot of these enemies, I just use mostly the parry system. So that will change when we get to the boss fight, and I'll explain a little bit more about the different systems when we get there. But so right off the bat, we're just gonna jump over this fence. The no death run's pretty standard fare to the regular game, but I would advise do not go for the no death run on your first attempt. In fact, the route I take won't even be possible. But most of these enemies just take some time to get used to the game, familiarize yourself with some of the basic mechanics. Tapping L1, doing a typical parry is going to get you really far on a lot of the enemies. So coming up here, if you just head off to the side, you can get yourself a steel pipe. Weapons are a godsend. So whenever you can get your hands on a weapon, use them. This door here will be locked when you first come to it in the game originally until you get a key later on in the level. This opens up to you, so when you come back and do this again, you'll be able to use that door. So these couple enemies are pretty straightforward. Those two in the back will grab weapons if you don't rush them, but I didn't in this attempt. But you can rush those two at the back so that they don't pick up weapons. Still not too much of a problem. Again, parries are your best friend here. Get those takedowns for the extra healing. And then, of course, you have your first shrine here. I always get the additional health on takedowns. Super helpful for obvious reasons. The more health you can get back, longer you can stay alive. Though I will say, those health on takedowns are not going to help you on boss fights. So eventually you're going to want to try to start rotating out of getting those buffs from those shrines and start switching into things that are really going to help you on some of those later boss fights. So in this room, you can actually take down a lot of these enemies stealthily. So you kind of just hit them from behind and immediately do a takedown, and it won't alert a lot of the other enemies in this room. So you head up these stairs. Really, really advise taking out as many of these enemies as possible before heading into the main warehouse. This actually is also super helpful if you're going for the trophy for beating this area in under a minute and a half. You can kind of do it on the way through. I ended up popping it on a different run for this video, but yeah, you can get that same trophy here just following the same route I'm taking. Take this guy out, and now when you go into the main room, you're not going to have these extra enemies to take down. I switch out my weapon for durability to max it back out again, and then we come down the stairs, and now we're actually into the main fight. So I goof a little bit in this attempt, but nothing too crazy. So in this area, a lot of people have struggled. There's just a lot of enemies. So one of the big things that you're going to want to try to do is make sure that you're keeping some space. That leg sweep, by the way, one of the best abilities to grab. You're going to want to try to use your XP from earlier runs to take out, or to get that leg sweep as early as possible. Highly, highly recommend it. Yeah, and then using your environment, throwing bottles. If you can get it so that you kick and throw weapons right off the ground, it's super helpful as well. I just start abusing weapon throws against her here. Super, super fun. But again, most of these enemies, I just block and parry as best I can. Leg sweep to finish her off. And then I grab a fresh weapon to go into the next room here. So yeah, I find the pipe. There we go. Yeah, so that's that room. That's the warehouse. And then once you come in here, you can just beeline the big guy at the back. Just rush him. Don't say anything. And then just immediately get the free takedown. If you startle enemies like that, you can get free takedowns. And then you just have an easy takedown on these last two guys. And then that's it for the lead up to the boss. So just take this out. Have a nice little fancy weapon throw that I was pretty proud of. It looked dope. God, this fighting in this game looks so good. Hey, I love it. Absolutely love it. So I just have a straight run to the end of the level and the boss fight. So we got a shrine here. This shrine I just was humming and hawing on, but I still ended up going with the health on takedowns just to get it out of the way. But again, you are going to want to, especially for the second boss, you're going to want to start rotating away from that health on takedowns, because it really doesn't help on boss fights. It's just going to help you get through levels and keep your health a little higher for the no death runs. All right, so this is the boss. Now, one of the big things that this game doesn't teach, that coming off of Absolver, it's super, super helpful to know. If you press and hold L1 and then flick down or up, right there, I did it, the phasing. It really, really helps keep your stance and gives you opportunities to hit back on enemies as well as gain a ton of focus. So when the boss is coming in, if you press and hold L1, so I just do a quick leg sweep there. But if you press and hold L1 and then flick down, when the attack comes through, you kind of phase, and you get this little blue glow ghost effect. You can see other enemies doing it to you all the time. This works on almost every enemy in the game. It's just more beneficial usually to parry. The bosses can be really tough to constantly parry. But if you just, on this boss, you don't even have to worry about jumping over his kicks. If you just focus on holding L1 and flicking down in the timing you would normally think to parry. So as soon as the attack's coming in, you just flick down on the stick while holding L1, and you'll just phase through all the attacks. It's really, really straightforward, surprisingly. And then same thing, you just get another weapon, and on this phase, you just keep the pressure up, get him staggered. Do a couple attacks. He comes in with his kicks, duck underneath the kick, get that phase attack. Because every time you phase through, you get an opportunity to go back in on them, right? So it's super helpful. When they're coming out of when he's coming out of the trees, if you run away from the tree, it gives you enough distance that the attack doesn't come through. I was finding it difficult to time. Some people will do dodge rolls to kind of avoid that, or block it, or do the phased attack. You can do all those to block it. I just found it more consistent for me to just run away from wherever he's popping out. Found it super, super helpful. So those orange kicks, by the way, those are block breakers. So you can, if you parry them, you're totally fine, and there's the end of the fight. But if you parry those orange attacks, you won't end up actually getting a ton of your stance broken. But you have to parry it. If you only block it, you'll lose tons and tons of stance. So if you're uncomfortable blocking, and either doing the dodge avoid through it, or the actual full-on parry, I highly advise, just for as long as you can, just to avoid or sidestep on those orange kicks, because they will crush your stance, your stagger bar. But yeah, that's the first level. I'm gonna do another one of these videos for the second level once I have it a little bit more down pat. The boss, I usually still die once on that boss, but the rest of the level I'm getting there. So stay tuned. If you like this sort of content, please make sure to give me a follow, subscribe, comment in the video if you have any questions. As a new channel, all that stuff super appreciated. I am also a live streamer. I stream over on Twitch 3 days a week. Schedule's a little all over, but generally speaking, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern, 3 days a week. So you can hit me up over there. Link to my Twitch will be down below, as well as I have a Discord. Same thing, you can hit me up there if you have any questions or want to join the Zathers gaming community. But yeah, thanks again, and happy hunting if you're going for that under 25 trophy. I wish you luck. It's going to be a good one. Happy hunting.